welcome to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. My name is Jeff Harding, and I'll be sitting in for Kyle Case, who's out of town. Joining me today, we have a special guest. I'm looking forward to this visit with Calvin Dilworth. He's from this great state of Michigan. Calvin, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, how you doing, Cal?
Hey, doing great. As I say, still kicking, just not as high.
Well, and for you, that's saying something because you kicked pretty high in the day, so we're doing great there, Cal. Hey, we're excited to have you, Cal. As you know, this is a brand new show that we're doing, The Active Life, and we're talking with folks and doing shows that promote the active life. Now, let's set up where you fit into the active life. Cal, how old are you?
82.
82 years old.
Correct.
Now, Cal has been one of the original participants of the Huntsman World Senior Games. You've been coming here for how long, Cal?
Well, if you've had it for 27 years, I've been there for 27 years.
And we've had him here for 27 years, and he's one of the great personalities. He's one of the people that make the games what they are. And so we're going to talk to Cal a little bit about his history, about how he feels about the games, and what he does to stay active. So, Cal, can you briefly give us a brief description of how you came to St. George the very first time, those 27 years ago?
Okay, when the games first started, basketball was not considered, well, they weren't going to have it as a sport. They thought it was too strenuous for persons 55 and older. But we were, when I say we, a group of basketball players were in Salt Lake City playing in the Masters AAU tournament. And Sylvia Wonderly, the director at that time, found out about us, and she came over there, and I had left, but she met Ron Koski, and he gave her my name, and she called me and asked me would I guarantee a team to come to the World Senior Olympics, as it was called then. I guaranteed a team, Ron guaranteed a team, and there was a team of just a different group from different places in Utah. And in fact, Bruce Crane handled the team because he was 1 year shy of being old enough, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I got started.
Well, that's so fun, Cal, and the rest, as I say, is history. Now, Cal, you're 82 years old? 83?
Correct.
82. Do you play half court? What kind of basketball do you play at 82 years old?
Well, I play with a 3-on-3 team. That's half court. And also, I play on, when we have pickup games here in Detroit, we play full court. So
my hat's off to you, Cal. I struggle. I'm a few years younger than you, mind you, but I struggle getting up and down the court as it is. But that's amazing. At 82 years old, you're still playing full court basketball. Now, I do know.
And you guys helped out a lot for 75 and older and having it on a small court. So that helped us old guys.
Well, we're glad to do anything we can for you, Cal. Now, I want the folks to get to know you because, as I said, you're a gem for those of us who work for the games, those of us who know you. We look forward to seeing Cal every year because you're such a gem. Give us a little bit of your personal history. Tell us about college and post-college.
Okay, well, I grew up in a town of Rankin, Pennsylvania. That's right in the Pittsburgh area. And I was involved in sports since I was about 10 or 11 years old. So I just continued. Then after high school, I went to Heidelberg University in Tiffin, Ohio. That was interrupted by 2 years during the Korean conflict. And I came back and finished. And then after that, I had a very brief stint with the Globetrotters. That didn't last very long.
Well, no.
And I learned something from them.
What did you learn from them?
I formed my own team called the Harlem Hobos.
Uh-huh.
And we were fortunate enough to play for 8 years. And then I just continued to playing in all the amateur tournaments that were everywhere. And I've been fortunate enough to play on teams that have played all over the world. Someone would put a team together and they would call who they thought were the better players in that age division and ask them would they play on the team. And I remember a few years ago when I was called and they said, we're putting a team together to go to Slovenia and want to know, will you go?
Wow.
And I said, yes, right away. I said, yes, I'll go. But naturally, my first question was, where is Slovenia?
And
At that time, I'd never heard of it.
And you have found out,
I was ready to go.
Oh, great.
And, over the years, playing amateur basketball in the World Masters games and the Senior Olympics, I've played in several foreign countries, Australia, Argentina, Brazil, Costa Rica. That's not a foreign. And
so I guess we could say then, Cal, that you showed the Globetrotters that you became a Globetrotter even if they didn't want to have you on the team.
That's right. I just did it a different way.
You did it a different way. This is the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life, and we're talking with Cal Dilworth out of Michigan. Now, what city do you live in now, Cal?
Southfield, Michigan.
Southfield, Michigan. I want to just ask you quickly, just to let you know that more of Cal's credentials. How many Hall of Fames are you in, Cal?
6, I think.
6 Hall of Fames. This man can play basketball. I know one of them is the Huntsman World Senior Games Hall of Fame, and another is the College Basketball Hall of Fame. So this man has credentials. He is legit. So, and I'm just having so much fun because I know Cal, and I'm just dying to hear these stories. But Cal, tell us about your first year at the Huntsman World Senior Games, especially focus on the special meal you got, and then what happened after that.
Well, what happened the first year, our realtors were really courting the seniors that came, telling them what a great place St. George was, and, they were kind of get people to move to St. George, and they had a meal for all the participants, set up steak dinner and salad and all the trimmings and everything.
Just really first class.
Pardon me?
Just really a first-class dinner for the athletes.
Oh, yes, you name it. It was everything you wanted to go with a steak dinner. And so after that first year, when I go back home and I'm telling different people about the games, what a great time I had, and, the competition is good and fun, great people, and I told them about this great meal that we had. And so we come back the next year, and they still have the meal set up, but when we get to the meal, we find out it's hot dogs, hamburgers, and you had your choice, a hot dog or a hamburger, and only one for a person. So the guys got all over me about that because they said, this is this great meal you were talking about.
So you had your choice of tube steak or ground steak, but no regular steaks.
Right.
But
we survived that and continued. Several of the guys continued to come back the next year and off and on, year after year. I think, Vic Korn, he was with us that first year, and Vic has also come back every year.
Another 100%er. Right. We only have a few of them left. So many are no longer able to compete, but we sure love the 100%ers that are still with us. So is there anything else that you want to share with us about you, your background, your history, anything else that you want to share with us before we move on?
Well, one of the things, not about me, but about the first year I came to St. George, we didn't have enough players. 2 of the guys were still coming from Las Vegas, and there was a man in the stands, Ned Davison. I said, do you play basketball? He says, a little bit. So I said, get signed up. We need you. And I met him and his wife, Ruth, that first year at the basketball game, and 27 years later, we're still great friends.
That is so great. And really, that is what the games are about. Wouldn't you agree, Cal, that the first year people come for the competition, and thereafter they come for the camaraderie?
Oh, that's correct, because I come back for mainly to see old friends and to make at least one new one.
And given your personality, that's not hard.
I look forward to that more than I shouldn't say more than, but just about the same as I look at the competition. But that's important the fact that you get to meet people from all over the world, not just the United States. A friend of mine, when we played in Brazil, when I went down there to play, someone who I'd met through the games, I stayed an extra week, and he was gracious enough to have me stay at his home for the extra week while I was in Brazil.
That is truly amazing, and that really epitomizes what the games are all about. We're the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life, and we're talking with Cal Dilworth out of Southfield, Michigan. Long time. In fact, he's been here to every single competition that has taken place in St. George for the Huntsman World Senior Games. Let's talk a little bit about the active life, about what changes have you seen through your life in physical fitness, in staying healthy and staying active?
Well, I think the biggest change I've seen is that older adults are more active now. At one time, everyone felt that if you reached 35 or 40, you were too old to be playing games, as they called it. You know, basketball, softball, tennis, bowling. They figured, you know, that was for young people, and not realizing it's for everyone, because doing that helps keep you young.
That's right. So, in your opinion, or what do you think about this statement? Athletics are the fountain of youth. Competitive athletics are the fountain of youth. How would you speak to that?
Well, I wouldn't disagree with it, but I think I would say regular activity is the fountain of youth.
Good point.
When you speak of athletics, you know, a lot of times people think about bouncing a ball, throwing a ball, things like that. There's so many other things you can do that don't involve a ball.
Very true. Very true.
Well, the main thing is walking. Yeah.
Right.
Because we had a program here called the Master Sports Program, and it was called the Recreation, Athletic, and Social Program for persons 50 and older. And when the program first started, it was based on softball, basketball, bowling.
The traditional
and
sports.
Didn't realize that if our purpose was to improve the quality of life for persons 50 and older, you should have other activities. We started water aerobics, a walking program, and our attendance almost tripled. Yeah.
I bet that when they advertised that you were in the water aerobics teaching the class, that the number of ladies were lining up just to get in that class so they could be led by you in water aerobics. Is that not correct, Cal?
Well, as modest as I am, I have to say, you're right.
Well, of course I'm right. You're Cal Dilworth. My goodness. So, Cal, what have you done to stay healthy and injury-free throughout your life?
Well, for one thing, I've never smoked. During softball season, I would occasionally have a beer after a game, a cold one.
Isn't that a requisite?
But I don't even do that anymore. And I try to eat right. I didn't start out eating right. You know, you grow up eating a lot of junk because it tastes good.
That's right.
And then later you realize that if you eat better, it'll help you as well as, you know, physical activity of some sort. And I remember the statement that Mickey Mantle said. He said, if I'd have known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
And I think a lot of people are realizing that now, that if you start now, and when I say now, when you're younger, taking better care of yourself, it'll help you in the long run.
That's very true. It's much easier to keep yourself in condition than it is to get yourself back into shape if you let yourself slip, and I can attest to that. I am in shape, Cal, because round is a shape, so I am in shape, but it's probably not the shape I want to be in. This is the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life, and we're talking with Cal Dilworth out of Southfield, Michigan. He's a 100%er. He's been at every single Huntsman World Senior Games competition that has taken place. Cal, what would you say to somebody who's dealing with pain or maybe struggling to stay motivated to be active?
Well, I think the first thing, usually people that will start back to activities and they haven't done anything in a while, they will have a lot of pain and aches when they start. And one of the things we recommend before you get involved in any activity, be sure and tell your doctor that you plan to participate in that particular activity. And the other thing, when you have a pain or an ache, see what's causing it and find out what the remedy is and do that. And then usually at that point, you can continue to participate in the activity that you enjoy.
I think that's some great advice, Cal. Now, on a personal note, what do you do? What keeps you motivated? What drives you to keep active and stay competitive?
Well, one of the things, I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy playing basketball. I enjoy playing softball, and I like to swim and other things. But the things that I enjoy, those are the things I do the most. So you just need to, I always say, if you enjoy it and you're able to, just do it.
Hey, I think that's, again, some great advice. And again, and the reason, Cal, I keep repeating this is because this is talk radio, and sometimes the listeners aren't as long as we'd like them to. So we let them know every so often what's going on so that they don't feel totally lost. So that's why I keep saying that this is the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. And we're talking with Cal Dilworth out of Southfield, Michigan. So now does that make sense why I keep saying that?
Okay.
And now I want to... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for example, we have pickup basketball games, and we have one gym where it's for 50 and older, and we have another gym where we go for 60 and older. And people will hear about it, and they will call me or someone else and find out where we play or something. Then what will happen, a 65-year-old will come, and he hasn't played in a while. And then he finds out that I'm, in my 80s, and he figures, well, if he can do it, I know I can do it.
So you're a motivator for other people, yeah.
But they haven't realized they haven't been doing it in a while. You can't just come out and go full blast. So a guy doesn't come back. So I'll call him and talk to him and tell him, you have to get back into this gradually. Yeah. And then, they come back and they get into it gradually and they stay because they see they can do it as long as they start working out more and, getting in better condition that they were in when they came out to play, thinking like they could do what they did when they were 25 years of age.
It's funny how our bodies age, but our minds don't seem to. Yeah, our bodies age, but our minds don't seem to think that they age. So that's that's kind of the challenge that we have. Changing gears just a little bit, Cal. Let's come back to your participation with the games, because I want to point out that Michigan is one of, as far as every state in the union is represented at the games, but Michigan is in the top 7. And which is really amazing, and it's the only team in the top 10 that's east of Colorado. So the biggest reason that Michigan holds that honor is because of one Cal Dilworth. So tell us a little bit about what you did for a living and how you were able to bring so many people out to the games.
Okay. Well, when I moved to Detroit, I went to work for, skip that one. That was Chrysler. But then I went to work for Wayne State University. And there I was assistant basketball coach, facility manager, and director of community and special projects. And after I stopped coaching, I stayed in that same position. And when I retired from Wayne State, I still wanted to continue to play basketball. So I went to a recreation center on adult night, and adults were like 20, 21, 22 years of age. So I went to the superintendent and asked him for one night a week for people 50 and older to play basketball. So he granted that, and we had a gym one night a week where 50 and older could go play. And then people started asking me about programs for 50 and older. And I said, I don't work for the city. I just was able to get a gym for 50 and older. But I went back to the superintendent and told him that people were asking about 50 and older programs. And I said, I know you need all these programs for the kids because they need it, but you really need something for people 50 and older. And he said, you're absolutely right. And I said, well, why don't you have anything? He said, I don't have anyone that could run a program like that. I said, I don't believe you. All these people work for the city. He said, no, for that type of program, I don't know anyone that could do it. So I said, well, I can, and I'll do it. He said, okay, but we can't pay you. I said, that's okay. I'll still do it because I retired.
Wow.
And so when he saw I was really going to do it, he signed me up as what they call a play leader, making $6.50 an hour at the time. And so as I worked as a play leader, getting the program off the ground, what he saw how the program was growing. You know, there were people 50 and older basically coming out of the woodwork to get involved in some activity. Because if you wanted to play tennis and you'd never played, there was someone that would teach you. If you felt competitive because you had played before or wanted to get back in it, we had someone that would coach you. And we had that from all of our activities. And so the program just continued to grow. And then they hired me, and I was making a little more than $6.50.
Wow. That's great.
But one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, but you do this at the Huntsman World Senior Games, and every organization for activity should do that, and that's have volunteers.
That's right.
When I went to Denver to speak to a group about the program, they said, one of the first questions was, you must have a huge staff. I said, no, I'm a full-time director. I have a part-time assistant, and I have a part-time administrative assistant, a lady that handles everything in the office. She said, but you said you had people that teach, that coach, and do this. I said, yes, I have 52 volunteers. At that time, I did.
Right.
I said, how in the world do you get 52 volunteers? I said, it's simple. I asked them.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it is amazing what happens when you ask.
Because a good example was our golf program. We had a gentleman and two ladies, and these were all seniors, retired, but they were good golfers, and they enjoyed playing golf. So I asked them to instruct our golf program. And they gladly did it because they could play free. They got a card free. And so
there were some advantages,
doing what they enjoyed, and it wasn't cost them anything when normally it would cost them to go play and the cart and the whole bit.
Well, Cal,
same thing with bowling.
Let me break in right there. I'm sorry to break in, but we're kind of getting low on time, and I knew the time was going to go fast because you are such an interesting, fun person. But there's one thing I do want to point out. You have a daughter, do you not?
Yes.
And she is of age to compete in the Huntsman World Senior Games. She's at least 50, right?
Yes, she'll be 51 this year.
So what happened on her when she turned 50? What was one of the events that she made sure that she participated in?
Huh.
Did she come to
well, what she did, she got serious about working out and training.
Uh-huh.
So she got a professional trainer.
Ah.
She was supposed to come to the Huntsman World Senior Games last year to play basketball, but the ladies on her team sort of fizzled out and only had 2 players.
Oh, so she couldn't compete.
We are going, when I say we, our women's basketball team will be playing at Slippery Rock College this weekend in the Pennsylvania Senior Olympics. And we're taking a 50, 60, and a 70-year-old team from our program, and she's going to be playing on the 50-year team this year, and she's looking forward to coming to the World Senior Games next year.
So she didn't
this year.
Then that didn't fall too far from the tree, but she'll be here this year. Hey, thanks for joining us today, Cal. And we want to remind everybody to join us each and every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. for the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life on Fox News 1450. For more information on registering as an athlete for the Huntsman World Senior Games, visit www.seniorgames.net. If you have any questions about the games or today's show, or have a suggestion for future shows, please send us an email at activelife@seniorgames.net. That's activelife@seniorgames.net. Everything all spelled out. And until next time, stay active.